A Texas A&M track and field star takes home the gold in Tokyo and notches a new record. The eviction moratorium has expired. How Texas is still helping its people. We begin this midday with a new American record from a fighting Texas Aggie. Texas A&M track and field star Athing Mo set the American record early this morning in the women's 800-meter run. The 19-year-old also won the first U.S. gold medal in the 1800-meter run since 1968. This is Mo's first Olympics. Raven Rogers from Houston won the bronze in the event. Also new this morning, Team USA superstar gymnast and Texas native Simone Biles competing in the balance beam final. The competition started just before 4 o'clock this morning our time. It was a hard-fought competition with Biles bringing home the bronze. China took gold and silver. Meanwhile, although the CDC eviction moratorium has expired, Texas is still offering help. The state's eviction diversion program has been extended per the Texas Supreme Court. The program, now extended until October 1st, provides an alternative to evictions when both tenants and landlords agree to participate, offering up to 15 months of rental and utility assistance. For more information, visit texasrentrelief.com. And right now in the fight against COVID-19, total vaccinations are still less than 50% and new cases are on the rise. The White House says getting shots in arms may take more than grassroots efforts. There are now COVID-19 vaccine requirements for federal workers.
Time to impose some requirements based on the realities of different risks unvaccinated individuals pose. This is a growing trend and makes a lot of sense.
Federal workers are now required to get a vaccine. Now let's get a check on your Tuesday forecast with meteorologist Josh Johns.
Yeah, and it's definitely a muggy one out there. No showers right now across Bryan College Station. You can see the clouds, though, on our Extra Co Eagle Eye here in town. Temperature sitting at 80 degrees. Our dew point's at 75, though, so it already feels like it's in the mid-80s. And that dew point staying in the mid-70s means it is going to be humid all day long. Already parts of the Brazos Valley feeling like they're near 90 degrees as you look at some of those temperatures. And we are seeing some puffy cumulus clouds showing up on satellite. Maybe a stray shower trying to mix in here and there. I do expect that we'll see a spot shower or thunderstorm later on this afternoon as the heating of the day starts to build up. Now, we do have a cold front that's sitting down to the south. That's the one that brought us the showers and thunderstorms yesterday. It's too far south to initially bring us showers and thunderstorms, but close enough that it'll provide enough lift to squeeze out a stray shower as we continue through the day. It's only about a 20% chance, 20 to 30% chance, but you can tell this activity going to be mainly in the afternoon. Overnight, things quiet down. We'll cloud up again, and then tomorrow with the moisture still around, we'll be able to pop off a stray shower once again. About a 20% chance of rain for tomorrow, and we'll actually keep these little isolated rain chances holding on through the rest of the work week. Once we get past the work week into the weekend, though, high pressure starts to build in again, and that means the skies will clear for your Saturday and Sunday. Once we head into the new week, though, looks like that high will back off a little bit. We'll be able to open up the Gulf of Mexico and get the sea breeze front coming through again, and that'll be enough to bring in daily rain chances for most of next week. They are going to be small ones, but isolated showers possible pretty much each and every day. Highs today, though, getting to the upper 80s and lower 90s. That's cooler than we should be this time of year. We should normally be around 97. And then tonight we dip down into the upper 60s and lower 70s, 72 for Bryan College Station. I'm going to go for 91 officially for a high today, 93 for Wednesday, a 20% chance of rain Wednesday on into Thursday and Friday as well. Mid-90s taking you on into the weekend, upper 90s Saturday and Sunday, small rain chances through about Tuesday. And we'll hang on to those mid-90s and upper 90s going on into next week.
CDC reported the 7-day moving average of daily new COVID-19 cases to be about 72,000 cases per day. This represents an increase of 44% from the prior 7-day average and higher than our peak of last summer.
The CDC said the weekly average of new coronavirus cases passed the number from last year's peak when there wasn't a vaccine available. The agency also said new hospital admissions average about 6,200 per day. According to new data from Johns Hopkins University, 5 states account for nearly half of new COVID-19 cases reported over the past week. Florida, Texas, and California account for nearly 40%. Louisiana and Missouri together accounted for nearly 7% of new cases. The FDA said it's moving as fast as it can to give full approval to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. While the FDA could not give a specific timeline, officials with the agency said it will not lower its scientific standards to greenlight the vaccine. All COVID vaccines, including Pfizer, currently only have an emergency use approval, but medical officials and business leaders said a full approval would help fight vaccine hesitancy, especially at a time when new COVID cases are surging. Simone Biles won a second medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. The 24-year-old, considered the greatest gymnast of all time, took home bronze in the women's balance beam competition. Biles returned to the competition after she withdrew from most events to focus on her mental health. She has now won 7 Olympic medals overall.
More Cubans are fleeing their home as life on the island takes a turn for the worse, making the long journey to U.S. soil by boat. The U.S. Coast Guard has seen an 80% increase in Cubans fleeing to the United States. Latest numbers show the Coast Guard has stopped 554 Cubans since October 1st. Cuban migrant Esteban Martinez and his wife are leaving for a fresh start. I'm going to start a new life, he says, because it's never too late. But it comes at a risk. Reports of people going missing after leaving the island are surging. Entire families are destroyed, the mother of a missing Cuban migrant says, and it is a great suffering. In 2017, former President Barack Obama ended the wet foot, dry foot policy, which allowed most Cuban migrants who reached U.S. soil to stay and become a permanent resident after a year. Now those who enter the U.S. illegally could be sent back home.
It's another push to get more shots in the arms, as a pop-up clinic continues to encourage more people of color to get vaccinated.
I think that we understand the culture. You know, when they come here, it's like coming home.
Jude Jean-Pierre is a pharmacist and the owner of RX Link. Thanks to his efforts and the help of other community leaders, they were able to be the host for this vaccination site. As an incentive for the vaccine, they were also giving $10 vouchers and free t-shirts.
Even though we focus on the minority community, but that doesn't limit ourselves to provide the care to our community, which is a mosaic that contains all sort of groups and all sort of races and gender and so forth.
For Anthony Perez, he was one of dozens who came out to get his first dose. Perez's wife Amanda says she had been pleading with her husband for months to get vaccinated.
I've been begging him since they said that it was coming out. Even when it was just healthcare workers, I was like, you have to get it. And he's terrified of needles, like completely anti-needle. So just hearing the word shot, you can see like the visible sweat on his face.
After much contemplation, he finally mustered up his courage and got the shot.
She's the reason that I got the vaccine, so I'm happy that I got it done.
Together, community leaders and the public continue to work towards one common mission: to help close the gap with vaccine equity and making sure everyone has a fair and just access to COVID-19 vaccinations.
Native American tribes receive numerous benefits for being federally recognized. But right now, there are more than 700 pending applications from groups trying to gain recognition. A newly launched boat tour is trying to educate people on Native history and raise awareness for tribes seeking recognition. If you've ever been to Seattle, you know it has world-class seafood, great coffee, and the Space Needle. The city on the Sound also has a deep history with Native American tribes.
A lot of the tourists that come here don't really understand that this is traditionally Native territory.
Kyle Griffith is the owner and operator of Salish Sea Tours, the newest boat tour in Seattle.
The biggest thing is to let everybody know that we are still here.
Kyle is a member of the Chinook Indian tribe in Washington. That tribe, along with the Duwamish tribe, are two of more than 700 groups applying for recognition as a tribe by the federal government.
Tribes that are federally recognized accept the jurisdiction of the United States and the laws of the United States, and they have all of what the law calls the privileges and immunities of federally recognized tribes in the United States. My name is Eric Eberhard. I'm an attorney. I've been practicing law for 52 years, and for 49 of those I've practiced what some folks call federal Indian law.
Eric says one of the main benefits tribes get from becoming federally recognized is the ability to run casinos. But other benefits include access to federal housing program, funded education through high school, and income and food assistance. But many tribes aren't recognized. So Kyle and his new tour are trying to change that.
The tribes who fish these waters are facing challenges today. Despite dwindling numbers and loss of their land, the struggle continues for recognition by the federal government.
We are still here, and we are still proud to be here. And, you know, this recognition struggle, we all should be helping to right the wrong. There's no reason the Duwamish tribe should be suffering and my tribe should be suffering, and we should all be working together to help.
Even with awareness, the road to federal recognition is long.
The process typically takes 20, 30, 40 years. It begins when a tribe sends what's known as a letter of intent to the Secretary of Interior that says they want to be federally recognized. There are somewhere north of 700 letters of intent that have been filed.
Tribes have to prove they've been operating continuously since 1900, that they've exercised political influence and authority during that time, prove current citizens descend from the historic tribe, and that membership is unique. It's a long and expensive process. Kyle is just going to take it one boat ride at a time, hoping he can impact people and give them a great tour.
We just hope that people come down and enjoy themselves on the boats. They learn the real history of Seattle. They get to see the beautiful views, take pictures, enjoy themselves.
In Seattle, I'm Bo Evans reporting.
Enjoying a meal at a summer cookout is fun, but it's important to know how to store and prepare that food to avoid getting sick. Food that isn't kept at a safe temperature can grow bacteria. Foods including meats, dairy products, and mayonnaise are particularly more dangerous. Food that's meant to be kept cold or hot is of particular concern because it can be difficult to maintain the appropriate temperature. Items left out too long at room temperature or warmer can cause bacteria like Salmonella or E. coli to grow. Most importantly, you'll want to avoid the temperature danger zone between 40 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the range bacteria grows most rapidly. Hot dishes should be kept at or above 140 degrees. Cold items need to be at or below 40 degrees. And food should never be left out longer than 2 hours. You'll also want to keep your hands, surfaces, and utensils clean to avoid cross-contamination of items, especially when it comes to raw meat.
And we'll keep the chance for an isolated shower through the day today. Otherwise, temperatures climbing into the upper 80s, lower 90s. Remember, we should normally be around 97 this time of year. Officially, I'm going to go for a high of 91 today, a 20% chance of rain, 93 on Wednesday, and 94 coming up on Thursday. As you look at the rest of that 10-day forecast, we'll keep the temperatures in the mid-90s heading into the weekend. Then we approach the upper 90s, and we're going to hang on to those upper 90s going into next week with small rain chances hanging around.
Markel Taylor Bay has made mistakes. While serving a 21-year sentence for robbery, he wanted to put those mistakes in his past. He educated himself about business, found a business partner, and when he got out, they got to work, but he soon found himself back inside.
36 days later, after doing 21 years of incarceration, I went and robbed a Papa John's pizza. My brain just shut down. And people was wondering how, after doing all of this time, having the business education he have.
While he takes ownership of his actions, Markel learned about ongoing research from the University of Denver that suggests he was also a prisoner of his own mind.
Didn't know I had a traumatic brain injury. I didn't even know I had mental health issues.
The CDC defines a traumatic brain injury, or TBI, as an injury that can affect how the brain works. Caused by a blow to the head, it's a major cause of disability. New findings by researchers estimate that 50 to 80% of America's prison population has had a TBI. Outside of prison, less than 9% of the general population has had a traumatic brain injury. The statistics are worse for incarcerated women. 97% have had a traumatic brain injury, and half have had multiple. The results of this groundbreaking research was shocking to the study's author, Dr. Kim Gorgans, who has been speaking out since, including in this TED Talk, which she provided to us.
In this way, these women's brains look like the brains of retired NFL players. And they'll likely face the same risks for dementing diseases as they age.
Dr. Kim Gorgan's research has shown that TBIs can impact someone's ability for self-regulation, judgment, reasoning, and problem solving. And that, she says, can lead inmates to reoffend once they get out of jail.
You know, trauma is the only thing that we let get to a stage 4, before we start to treat it. And the treatment is prison.
Corey Shively met Markel in prison and is now his business partner at their marketing company. Thanks to the study, they both discovered TBIs they suffered while they were younger have impacted their judgment and impulse control and are now getting help for it. They've now made it their mission to educate their communities about traumatic brain injuries.
We should have better resources in our community to be able to deal with this trauma up front. We shouldn't have to wait till Markel's 47 and I'm 40 years old for us to get some therapy.
They've taken their mission to the Colorado state capitol with hopes of changing policy across the nation. They helped create a new law that mandates neuropsychological exams for inmates once they get sentenced. If a mental illness or brain injury is detected, psychologists make 2 plans, one for prison staff to manage the inmate and the other for the inmate on how they can better themselves, all with the hope of reducing recidivism.
They're going to be able to see what's going on with their brain, become more aware, and, like we like to say, trauma-informed, trauma-conscious, trauma-responsive.
Markel hopes that this is just the first step in helping people like himself recognize their own disability to make themselves and everyone around them safer.
We're here to help this state be returned back to a baseline state of safety so people can operate effectively and they don't have to suffer in silence.
I'm Vanessa Mishanya reporting.
I was like, hey, I want to do this. This sounds like a fun challenge. And I also said I wanted to give back.
A 10-year-old in southern Colorado decided to spend his summer vacation helping the community. Krhd is mowing lawns for anyone in his area as part of the 50-yard challenge. He's helping the disabled, elderly, veterans, or anyone who might have a problem mowing their own lawn. He says he loves to see the reactions of the people he helps.
They were happy, their faces were smiling, and they had so much joy in their faces.
I can have fun later. I'd rather give back to the community now.
In the Kentucky heat, these 2 sisters are also getting to work taking on the 50-yard challenge. At just 14 years old, these sisters are taking their mowers across Lexington, tending to people's yards for free. Their focus is primarily on veterans and single parents.
It's great for those of us that are not able to take care of things like we need to.